Okay, today we're talking about probability of a single event, 10.3. Let's go ahead and start by reading this definition. Probability is used to measure the chances of an event occurring. A desired outcome is called a success, comma, anything else is a failure. Okay, so probability of an outcome happening is you have your successful outcomes divided by your total possible. Okay, there are a few rules when dealing with a probability. First of all, it needs to be between 0 and 1. Either it doesn't happen at all, or there's a 100% chance of it happening, or it's something in between. But you can't have the probability of something being over 100%. Okay? If it's an impossible event, it's 0. Certain event, it's going to happen no matter what, is a 1. The sum of all probabilities for all possible outcomes must equal 1. And the complement is basically the opposite, would just be if you took 1 minus the probability of the event. So basically, for instance, with the complement, let's say that I said the probability of something happening is 2/3. Well, the complement, okay, would be 1/3. It's basically whatever's left over would be the complement. And if you go 1 minus this, 1 minus 2/3, 1 you would change to have a denominator of 3, so you'd go 3 over 3. You subtract, you get 1 over 3. Okay, example 1. A die is rolled. Find these probabilities. So you have to remember and think about a die, and I'm going to get one out just so I have it here. But a die is rolled, find these probabilities. So the probability of getting a 5. How many 5s are on a die? 1. And how many sides, how many possible outcomes are there on a die? And there are 6. So that's my answer, 1 over 6. Find the probability of getting a number less than 3. So does that mean we can get 3? No, it needs to be less than 3. So what are your options of numbers that are less than 3? Okay, so there's 1 and 2. So there's a total of 2 out of 6 numbers that are less than 3. And then, of course, you would reduce that to 1/3. Okay? What's the probability of getting a number that's less than 13? Okay, every single number on a die is less than 13. So that means there is 6 out of 6, which is 1. Okay, the probability of getting a number greater than 6. Are there any numbers that are greater than 6 on a die? None. 0. So 0 out of 6, which means your answer is 0. And it says the complement of getting a 5. So it's easier to figure out, well, what's the probability of getting a 5? Okay, so that's 1 out of 6, probability of getting a 5. So the complement is where we would go 1 minus this, or what's left over. If the probability of getting a 5 is 1 out of 6, then that means the complement is actually 5 out of 6. And again, if you're subtracting here, you would end up going 6 over 6 because you want the same denominator as here. And when you subtract, you get your 5 over 6. Okay. Example 2. A card is drawn from an ordinary deck of cards. Find these probabilities. And I'm probably going to have these written out on the board for you. But in a deck of cards, there are 52 cards. Okay? You have your hearts. You have your diamonds. You have spades and clubs. Okay? Your hearts are red. Your diamonds are red. And I do not have a black pen right now. But your spades are black. And your clubs are black. Okay? In each of your hearts, each of these have 13 cards. 13, 13, 13, and 13. And within each of these sets, there's like 1 ace in all of them, 1 king, 1 queen, and so on. Okay, so what is the probability of getting a jack? So there is a jack of hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs. So how many jacks are there? Your answer should be 4 jacks. Out of the whole deck, and in a whole deck there are 52 cards. Okay, you can divide the top and the bottom by 4, and you end up getting 1 over 13 as your answer. Okay, now this next one says the probability of getting a 6 of clubs. Well, how many 6s are in your clubs? There's only 1, exactly. So 1 over 52. And that can't be reduced. That's your answer. C says the probability of getting a diamond. Well, how many diamonds are there? 13. So that is 13 out of 52. You can divide by 13 to the top and the bottom, and that reduces to 1/4. And D, probability of getting a black card. So if you look up here, your spades and your clubs are black. So how many total black are there? 26 out of 52. And we can reduce that, and that becomes 1/2. Okay, example 3. A bag contains 6 white, 3 blue, and 7 green marbles. Okay, so let's kind of circle the information we have. 6 white, 3 blue, and 7 green marbles. It's important to always know your total. So if we add all those up together, my total is 16. Okay, so then it goes on to say if one marble is chosen at random, what is the probability of each event? So A, the probability of the marble is white. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to see if you can figure this answer out on your own, and also make sure you reduce your answer. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time. So how many white marbles are there? 6. And you always divide by the total possible, which is 16 in this case. And then we can reduce that by dividing by 2 to the top and the bottom. And I get 3 over 8 as my answer. Okay, B says the probability the marble is not green. So which marbles are not green? Hopefully you said white and blue are not green. So what do you think we're going to do with those? You're going to end up adding them. So not green would be 6 plus 3 out of your total, which is 16. 6 plus 3 is 9 over 16, and can that reduce? And the answer is no. So that's your answer. Okay, and then on C it says the probability the marble is blue or green. So this time we're dealing with blue or green. So what are we going to do on this one? So we're going to go blue 3 plus green 6 out of your, oh wait. Blue 3, green 7, just kidding. Out of our 16. And we add those together. And that makes 10 out of 16. And then that can be reduced by 2, and we get 5 over 8 as our final answer. We're going to talk about this more as we go on, but or here, or always means adding. So another way you could have thought about this one too is if there are 3 blues out of 16 plus 7 greens out of 16, and again you add those together, 10 over 16. And reduce to get 5/8. So either way that you do that problem, you get the same answer. Okay, so that is it.